Alright, good evening. Let me just see if everything is working and we can start. Alright. So, in the last update this week, we have received the high angle weapons, and there is a lot of things that I want to talk about. Now first, the main question, the big question, am I going to switch to the high angle weapons? I don't think that I will. After all, I already have the tackle alt that I use, so I will probably keep on using the alt as tackle with the primary weapons. But the high angle weapons are overall quite interesting, and I see them being used quite often, I would say. So today I will start with the Moros, because this is a ship that I haven't been flying that often, and I kind of like the Moros. It's a very, let's say, a very unique looking ship. The space potato, the space snail, this thing has a lot of nicknames, and well, let me show you the high angle weapon on this thing. So, oh, the nanocore. This is. Let me show you the nanocore first. If the game wants to load, it is the illusionary ghost core that, well, I just ended up using on this thing because I like it. I thought that it makes the Moros look a lot better than the classic design, than the classic color, and after all, you get a pretty good visual effect using this core. But back to the build here. So this thing has 132 DPS. Now this is in the station. The siege mode is not engaged, so this is the classic Dreadnought DPS. So, Federation Navy barreled capital snap-deuced railguns. Now, they have significantly lower alpha damage than the primary main weapons. Let me do a side-by-side comparison here. So I have some Federation Navy capital turrets. Let's use one. Okay, now the DPS did go up quite a bit, but let's ignore that for a moment. So, 2,464 thermal and 1,135 kinetic damage on the capital, on the classic main weapon. While on the barrel weapon you have 616 thermal and 284 kinetic, which is a significant difference. Now the activation time 2.19 seconds, optimal 21.84, accuracy valve 24.96, and the main thing, tracking 5.27. Now the thing about the barrel weapons is that they have higher tracking but lower DPS, which makes them really good for sub-capitals. Now the main weapon over here has the activation time 5.79 seconds. Of course it has higher optimal at 27.3, accuracy valve to 31.2, and the tracking speed 0.86, which is, you know, not that good if you want to shoot the sub-capital ships, but the Federation Navy barreled capital snap-deuced guns have much better tracking, and overall it should be interesting to see how this will work. Now let me go back and equip this turret. In the medium slots, one scrambler, triple webs. Now we did some testing with the Nosferatus, and they did retain the same penalty from EVE Online, which means you can't use the capital Nosferatu or neutralizer against capital ships. It will not work. So in, let's say, capital versus capital, it will work, but if you are shooting at subcapitals, it's not going to work. Let me show you the neutralizer for a moment. Okay. Now, of course, I would probably use a build like this, but inside missions, I would probably stick to quad webs. But here you can take a look at the stats of the capital. On a capital neutralizer, how can I get purple nanocores? You have the nanocores from the Conquer Pass, which are basically free, and there's the paid ones as well. I don't use the paid ones, I don't like them, I just like how they look, but I personally don't use nanocores, or I use the Conquer ones, or the blue or green, or the green ones. They get the job done. Now let me go back and get the quad web setup that I will use. Now I talked with a lot of players, and I was asking basically what kind of low slot setup would they use on a ship like this that uses the barreled weapons, and most of them told me to go with tracking computers, so I went with dual tracking computers, dual batteries, and dual adaptives, and dual armor repairs. I kinda like this setup, should be working really well. Onto the rigs. Well, surprisingly, this ship does not have integrations. I know, quite shocking that my ships don't have integrations, but I went for full DPS on this Moros, just to see how much DPS I can get out of the barreled weapons, which means the tank is not going to be that good, but you know, that should not be a big problem. Okay, let me quickly show you the implants on this thing. So you can use the high power coil or the thermal circulation. Now both of them have their use. The thermal circulation has this nice armor resistance bonus that I use on all of my ships. So if you want to use this implant on the Moros, you can. The implant has a very interesting effect. However, I personally don't like to use it because it's easy to hit the overheat, and then you basically lose a lot of DPS. But the high power coil is, I would say, the implant that I use on the railgun ships. And well, let me just show you the general unit setup. Basically, for tracking, armor repair, capacitor battery overheat, capacitor battery efficiency optimization, Nosferatu output boost, and neutralizer distance optimization. Okay, let me undock. Okay, this is activated, and let me show you the active stats on this. And yes, Happy New Year, guys! Happy New Year! Hope that you have a good time.
Undocking.
And hopefully the game today will give me some good missions to run. Let me just quickly reset the... Oh, okay, I... Okay, warping to 0. The Illusionary Ghost Naglfar has a very nice and a very trippy effect. I like it. I really like it a lot. And it does look very nice on the space potato. Today I will fly the Moros, I will fly the Revelation, and I will fly the Naglfar. The Phoenix has some things that I have to work with, so the Phoenix will get a whole new video, because the Phoenix did give me a little bit of problems with the build, because missiles tend to do that lately. Ratting Dreadnought, oh yes, that's a reality right now. It actually works really well. Okay, well, famous last words. Well then, here we are. Okay, siege up. Let me bring the web. I wish that we had more slots.
Under attack.
Let's yeet something first. Now, the thing with the barreled weapons, they have good tracking. However, if you have a frigate or any other cruiser or frigate or even destroyer too close to you, it might give some issues, and that's where you have to use the tracking computers in order to track those things, like that Imicus that got killed right there. But I have to say, the effects are insane. Just look at that shield. I really have to admit, they know how to make something pretty. But unfortunately, the way to obtain these nanocores is weird. So yeah. Single fire is best. Well, let's actually try that out. One place at one page. I really wish that we had more of the this thing does eat very hard. Now the optimal range is, let me just double check, 21.84. So it means I should hit targets up to 42 kilometers, and that's basically the maximum range that you will get on this thing. Now the Moros will have the highest DPS because blasters have the highest alpha and overall highest DPS, but shorter range. Will be interesting to see how much the other weapons do. And this is the next wave. So far it's going pretty well. The quad webs definitely help a lot to hold these things in place. And surprisingly, or not surprisingly, this works really well. The shield is holding out without much of a problem. And of course, this is an armor tank ship, so 6, 67 and 54. Of course, with a DPS build I can't really expect a lot of tank, but it should last for a decent time. And 7.8 thousand is the DPS with the barreled capital blasters, which is not bad. With the implant, wait a moment, where is the implant? Hold a second. With the implant, 11,743.26 DPS, which is, I would say, acceptable, not that bad. Definitely a balancing factor that the high angle weapons don't do a lot of damage. I don't mind that. I'm actually quite happy that they don't do a lot of damage. Now, you can't really do the same thing with the main turrets. The main turrets don't have a lot of tracking to hit, and I believe that I would be in a lot of trouble if I were to yeet the Moros into the mission with the main weapons. The revelation with implant, well, I will test out the revelation with the implant with the same setup, because I'm very curious to see how it will work. But currently the highest DPS is on the Moros. They shred. I mean, I really wish that I had this Naglfar on the revelation, because it looks so good. I had no idea that the Naglfar gave you
We're under attack.
new shield effect. It looks very nice. Okay, implant active. And the interceptor is dead. The shield is getting low, 18%. You really have to slow down the small ships if you want to hit them, because even if they are moving, even when they're slowed down, it's still a challenge to hit them, even with that tracking, which is not exactly battleship level tracking, but it's somewhere between battleship with, let's say, outcans, and between the long range weapons. So it's not really battleship level of tracking, but it's there. And this is where the tracking computer kicks in to help out with the tracking. Now, the tracking general unit does have a very big penalty. Let me just check that out real quick. Okay, 90% speed boost effect. That's basically increasing the tracking. The range minus 100 and accuracy follow boost minus 100. So with this unit you get tracking, but you lose the extra range, which is a pretty fair trade-off, if you ask me. And the tracking currently is 5.27. We'll check out the tracking with the computers active. It should be about 10.62, I believe. If my math is correct, it should be 10.62, but we will see. Okay, with one computer 8.14, and with the second one 10.63. Okay, I was wrong by couple decimals. Not a big deal. I use 4 scrambler, 4 webs and 1 scrambler on this thing currently in this mission. Now the revelation is known to not the revelation, but the Moros is known to have some very nice armor repairs. It repairs 79,000 armor every 8.72 seconds, which honestly is not that impressive. Because, well, no tank rigs, but it should hold very well. I have 378,000 armor, which is not, again, not that impressive, but it should work really well. The damage output feels like the damage output of a Megaton Striker, and of course that's the whole thing about the barrel weapons. They do feel like battleship turrets.
We're
One
under attack.
high angle weapon turret equals to 3
We're under attack.
battleship turrets. One group has like 3 turrets, so I have a lot of turrets on this ship currently. Okay, next wave has spawned. And we have some... hold a second, I have to do some moderation here. Yeah, we have some... there's some moderation to do in the chat here. One moment. Let me just open fire here for a second. Not really sure if you guys seen that in chat. I hope that you didn't. But there was some weird stuff in the chat that I had to remove. Now it's much better. Okay, back to this. Back to the chunk. What am I doing here? Okay, blowing up ships as usual. "27 ships left." Okay, I'm removing the small ships first because, well, that's what you should do. Yeah, no evil, that's true. Both, I mean, the new carriers and the old carriers are actually quite good for missions. The clearing speed is about the same because the DPS is actually about the same. However, I would say the Moros does have a little bit more DPS than the other Dreadnoughts. However, the carriers don't have issues with hitting small ships, and I do lose couple seconds in trying to hit the target because, well, they're moving, and moving targets can be quite difficult to hit. But in the end, it's not a big problem. I still do manage to hit them in the end, so not a big issue at all. Okay, armor fully repaired. Before I forget to actually repair my armor, which happens quite often. Ships left. Perhaps I should have left the armor to go down to about 20%, because why not? My tracking is 5.27 without the tracking computers active. I will show you the tracking once the computers are active in a moment, in 2 seconds. With both of them active, it's... the cold tracking is 5.27. This is not a storyline. Let me check the name of the mission. I always forget the name of the mission. Rescue large experimental field. Basically one of the new missions that have been added a while ago. Deserted experimental field lab. Yeah, 5.27 is actually pretty nice. I think I have about 11 or 12 on my Apocalypse Striker that I use for PvP. About that number. Oh yes, the Revelation is the next one that I will fly. I will show you all of the turret Dreadnoughts tonight, and the Phoenix will have a special video for it, because the Phoenix gave me some issues with the missiles. Three to four tracking computers is a little bit overkill, honestly. I believe 2 of them is more than enough. After all, I have webs, I have the general unit that increases tracking, and in order to fit 4 computers, I will have to sacrifice either the batteries or
Enemy
the
ships
adaptive,
detected.
which might be a problem, because
We're
I
under
still need some
attack.
tank in order to
We're under attack.
run the ship without a problem. The thing with the Phoenix was I couldn't really get that thing to work the way I want it to work. Now the ship is nice, the ship does, you know, run well, it's a fun ship, but I couldn't really make it the way I wanted to make it, so I had to develop basically a new idea for it. So that's basically the story with the Phoenix. The other capitals did not give me any problems. It's always the Phoenix, yeah, it's always the Phoenix. I don't know why, but that ship seems to be the ship that likes to give me problems. 2 wraps, 1 battery, 1 adaptive. Let me just double check that real quick on the fitting window. Well, it could work. However, I'll try it out. Why not? I will try it out. Phoenix is pretty strong. The Phoenix is the one capital that is excellent at killing other capitals. A Phoenix fleet can easily murder one unsuspecting tank capital. Basically delete the other capital off the grid in 1 or 2 hits from the Phoenix fleet. Excellent anti-capital ships. That's why I like the Phoenix. It has amazing alpha damage. However, without the high angular weapons, the Phoenix is not that good against sub capitals. but it's excellent against big boats. The Nosferatu does not work on sub capitals. It has the same penalty as the capital Nosferatu from EVE Online. Basically, you can't drain capacity from sub capital ships. Only the Blood Raiders can do that with capital ships. Well, the revelation is the next one that I will fly. And there is a lot of wrecks around me. How many wrecks is here? Let me just see if I can... Well, I don't see the number of wrecks, fortunately. The overview is not really set over here. About 50-60 wrecks around me at the moment. Three webs and 2 tracking computers. Well, this is basically about the same build that I run on this ship at the moment. Of course, there is probably a lot of other ways how to build the ship. This is just the way that I prefer to fly it, and so far it's been working really well. Of course, you can add... I can technically add the magnetic field stabilizers and increase the damage output with the same accuracy. However, I will have to sacrifice the tank, and not really sure how that would work. The new salvage drones loot the wrecks without the need to lock on the wrecks. You basically have to double click on the drones. And just like that, the armor has been fully repaired. Nice. This is the thing that I like about Galanta ships. Now somehow I missed a couple hits here, which is weird. So we can even miss the battleships in some cases. I think that's because of the range. And well, the mission has been completed. That was quick. Okay, let me go and grab the revelation. Of course, I have to turn off the siege mode and dock this ship. Overall, the Moros wrecks. This thing is insane. And there's a lot of wrecks here. There's a lot of wrecks. Okay, where is my station? There it is. Let's dock.
Warp drive active.
And of course, the Dreadnoughts don't have drone slots, so I can't slap the salvage drones on the Moros. However, the drones are pretty nice. I see them being popular, especially the large ones that are acting like sentries. Basically, you can snipe and they will just collect the loot while you shoot the other ships.
Docking request accepted.
Okay, it's a revelation time, I guess. Now the revelation is a bit more different than the Moros, and the implants are also quite different. Where is the revelation? It's somewhere down here. There it is. For a second I thought that I did not have it in this station. Okay, well, here we are with the revelation. So, this thing has 605.73 cold VPS, about the same build. Now this is a build that I will use on the Chemosh when that thing is released. The Chemosh is the Blood Raider capital ship, and that ship is basically my goal after the revelation. Now the thing about the revelation is that it has very good armor resistance. It even has a bonus on armor plus 4%, which is plus 20% if you have level 5 skills. So let me quickly swap the implant to the laser implant, because why not? Focus crystal or pulse crystal. Actually, let's go with the pulse one first, because it's easier to set up. The units are about the same as the units on the Moros. I focused on tracking, capacitor, armor repair, and Nosferatu, as well as neutralizer range and Nosferatu output boost. And now the revelation has 666.30 DPS, the number of the beast. Coincidence? I think not. Now let's quickly compare the barreled weapons, the barreled lasers, with the normal lasers. Okay, let's take a look. 599 and 366 damage on EM and thermal. 2396 and 1464 on the main turrets. The difference in damage output is, well, quite significant in the case of the revelation. Now the barreled lasers have 4.35 seconds activation time, while the main turrets have 8.69. The range is 52.42, accuracy of 15.6, and tracking is 4.31. So the tracking on the barreled pulsators is definitely not as good as the tracking on the blasters, on the Moros, for example. While this has 65.52 kilometer optimal, 19.5 accuracy fall-off, tracking 0.78. The tracking is, well, a lot different between the two turrets. The energy usage is also quite different. Okay, let me swap back to the previous barreled laser, which is over here. And let me quickly get my quad web setup back, because that's what I will need to use on this thing. I am a little bit worried with the relation because of the tracking, but we will see how it will perform. Let me just equip it. Okay, that should do it. The low slot setup is the same as on the Moros. Let me just double check that. Okay, and the rigs are also the same as on the Moros. In this case, just swap to the laser rigs. The relation has higher armor resistance, so it means that it will have natural higher tank. And well, guess what nanocore this is? This is one of the more salty nanocores that we have received in the game. Now I will use the focus and the pulse crystal on the revelation. However, a miss like Podris, okay, siege mode up, 5596.91 DPS. So the DPS is already lower, quite a bit lower than on the Moros. The tank is 2,000,000, 79, 73, 69, and 67% resistance, which is not bad. Okay, let's turn on the implant. It will give me plus 75%. Now it's 9785.42 DPS. Not a implant for shield tanks, that's for sure. This is a implant for armor tanks.
Shield damaged.
With one tracking computer, the tracking is 6.66, and with the second one active, the tracking is 8.7. So the tracking is already slightly worse than the tracking on the previous Dreadnought. Now let me see if I get another mission here. Hopefully I do. Well, I got another mission. Okay, that's gonna be nice. But before I go around the mission, let me show the stats on the focused crystal, because the focused crystal is one of the more popular implants in the game. Of course, I have to wait for the siege mode to go down so that I can dock. Okay. Let me show you the other implant that you can use. And somehow I drifted away from the station. Okay, well, that happens, I guess. This nanocore also looks very nice, although I'm not really sure if it has any special effects. We will find that out, I guess, very, very soon.
Docking request accepted.
But yeah, the CyberX nanocore looks amazing. Okay, back to the implants. So this was the pulse crystal. Let's go with the focus crystal. The units are the same. Armor repair boost. Let's actually they're not the same. I thought I did set this up. Oh well, let me do this real quick here. So the first one will be for tracking. Let's find the tracking unit. There is so many units, easy to miss them. So my apologies if I did. Okay, tracking correction. It's this one. Equip. Let's go with the second one. Second one will be for armor repair. Output boost. Okay, fitted. Third one and fourth one are for capacitor. Capacitor battery overheat boost and capacitor battery efficiency optimization. It's interesting that they don't affect one unit does not affect the other unit, so you can use both of them at the same time. And in the last two slots, I guess I can use the Nosferatu and Neutralizer. Range or efficiency both work. Let's go with the output boost, although not really going to be useful in missions because the penalty is there. But you know, to use the slot, I'll just go with the Nosferatu and Neutralizer, just in case there's a random capital ship that spawns in. Okay, now the implant is ready, and let me show you the build. Now the DPS is a little bit lower, of course. And let's see the active stats. I have a bad feeling that the focus crystal will not work really well, because I will miss a lot of targets, and that will kill my DPS. So I think I will go and swap to slow down. And the question is how long it will take for the implant to be recharged. The maximum effect of the implant will be at 180%, and at that point you get about, I think, 75% extra damage. I have to double check that in a moment. Okay, so 50 levels plus 1.8% per level. Oh, okay. Yeah, that should give a pretty good damage boost. Of course, if it wants to charge, unless the... Oh, it's charging, okay. 25% is the current output, 6,500 is the DPS. And with every passing hit, the DPS will go up. Sniping with the HAWs will be possible. That's a good idea. However, with sniping, I'm worried that the small ships can get close to you. And that way, if they get close to you, you are not going to be able to hit them. But it's a good idea. I might actually go and change the build to a sniper build. Probably will change the tracking unit into a range unit. Target painter, that's also a good idea. 76%, 8,900 DPS, and it will slowly rise. 83%. Now it's 140%. 12,231.79 DPS, which is pretty solid. The percentage is still raising. You know what I'll do? I'll dock and I will change the unit into the range unit, and then I'll fit 2 more tracking computers to the revelation, and then I will attempt to snipe. Now, I'm not really sure how that will go, so yeah. I might have to target the small ships first if I do that. 14,063.50 DPS with this current setup, with the focus crystal, and at full power it has 14,246.67 DPS, which looks pretty nice. Okay, now let me dock and let me change the build real quick. 9 kilometers from the station. Okay then, well, not really sure how that happened, but I drifted from the entry point. The thing is, the tracking might be an issue against smaller ships if they get close. That's why I will keep the quad. I will keep at least 3 webs, or perhaps 1 target painter should be enough, I think. I guess we will find out. Well, this was just a perfect screenshot. That yeah, this might be a thumbnail for a future video. Actually, it's very rare that I can get a very good look on this ship. Usually, I have to really work hard to get good pictures of this thing. That's just how it is sometimes.
Docking request accepted.
Okay, so quad, tracking computers, and changing the unit. Let's do that. Now I can sacrifice 1. Actually, hold a second. Let me do a quick rearrangement on the modules here. Okay, tracking computer equipped. I'll just run 2 adaptives, just in case. Or 1 adaptive and 1 battery, actually. That's what I'll do. Where is the A-type? There's the A-type. Okay. And now let me change the unit layout. Now, focus or pulse? That's the question. I'm a little bit worried if I use the focus. I think I'll just go with the pulse, but not. Actually, no. Let's just go with the focus, I guess. The unit is the first one, I believe. Yes, this. Tracking range correction. Let's fit that. Okay, implant is activated. And 1 target painter. Alright, let's find that if I have one. I have 86 of them, surprisingly. Okay, now let's check out the range. 71.29 kilometers, accuracy of 21.22. I feel like the general unit did not take effect. Okay, not really sure what's happening here. Maybe I messed up the layout. Oh, yeah, I did. Missile guidance computer. Okay then. Okay then, that explains it. Range correction. Alright. Was wondering what the hell was wrong. That was wrong. I had a missile unit. Okay then. Cursed build time. And now the range is 88.28. Yeah, that should be enough. Okay, let's undock and let's yeet. I will warp at 100. I do have the Phoenix in mind, that's true.
Undocking.
Okay, now this should be a very interesting layout. There is no stabs, so yeah. And I have the focused crystal implant. Hardened large rifle durance. Yeah, that's true. The large rifles have
Warp
about,
drive active.
I think, 2.5. And that's their tracking. If my memory serves me well, that's the number that I remember. Perhaps wrong, perhaps right. .21 is the tracking. Okay, let me find the small targets first.
We're under attack. We're under attack.
Well, this is popping them so far. .2 tracking on the large rifles. Okay, well, my memory was quite accurate. Not just you know, couple decimals. That's the mistake there. Yeah, I did miss, so I think I will probably switch to the pulse crystal implant here. I don't like missing. Yeah, I do miss a lot. That's the thing that I don't like about the focused crystal implant. It does miss a lot. Yeah, I warped at my fall. That's true.
Enemy ships
However,
detected.
The small ships might be a problem.
We're under attack.
So that's the reason why I warped at this distance. Okay, let me do this real quick. Well, surprisingly works really well. Actually quite satisfying to use this thing. Yeah, it actually works. You can snipe with the high angle weapons. Very easily actually. Okay, now let me go and swap to the other implant. Yeah, that's true. Have to worry about small ships. The small ships are the biggest threat that you can have.
Warp drive active.
I believe with the other implant I will be running this a little bit faster. With the capital pulses, I don't think it's I mean, if you can stay at 250 kilometers, then I guess it can work. The problem is when the rats start to approach your ship. That's where things might be problematic, because then if they move, your tracking might not be able to
Docking
keep up
request accepted.
with the movement. Okay, let's quickly change to the other implant. Let me check if I have. I haven't. Alright. Bad idea. Let's go and fit the corresponding unit. Range correction, this is the one. Okay, let's go back in action. The capital beam ladders can hit at 600 plus kilometers without a problem.
Undocking.
They have a very long range. The DPS on the Dreadnoughts is pretty bad if you are not inside of the showdown or the siege mode. They get their DPS when you go in the siege. Okay, this is about to be fun. No, I warped.
Enemy ships detected.
Okay, the next wave spawned and let me
We're
go
under
and...
attack.
Let me find the small ships first.
We're under attack.
Oh, that interceptor is... I mean, the carriers have their own thing. I like carriers, I like the new faction carriers as well, but I don't have quite the skills for the carriers, so that's why I don't fly them. However, they are fun ships. They are indeed fun ships, and they have their own thing. The Dreadnoughts are basically, yeah, huge things of steel dealing lots of damage and towering the battlefield, like fortresses. That's basically how I feel about the Dreadnoughts as well. Big boats that do a lot of damage. Okay, I think I will go and take the Mimotra Dreadnought for a spin, because I'm very curious to see how that ship will work. But so far, am I happy with the revelation? Yes, the ship definitely does work really well, and surprisingly, you imagine that I'll be using a revelation like the Apocalypse Striker, but it's a very good idea. I like it. It is a very good idea. Whoops, looks like I had a message. 1 second. Set active. So, the Naglfar. Now this thing is a bit different than the previous ships. Okay, the implant is prepared just in case I forget to use. Is really difficult, and with a good build they can withstand a lot of DPS. So the main turrets: 1073, 708, 1073 is the damage output. On the barreled weapons is 268, 177, and 268. So again, a massive difference in the DPS. So 77.82 and optimal 19.46. Activation time 5.79 seconds. So the difference is there. The difference is my audio keeps cutting in and out. Aha. Well, not really sure if that's my internet or if it's something else. I really hope that it's my internet. Hopefully it's fixed now. So, not really sure if that's my internet or if it's something. Yeah, now it works. I'm pretty sure now it works. Was probably my internet connection. So, tracking 3.86, optimal 15.56, accuracy of 62.26, activation time 2.9 seconds. Same setup as before. One web, one scrambler, triple webs, well, quad webs now, because webs are the thing I need on this ship. Dual adaptives, dual batteries, dual tracking computers, and dual boosters. For the rigs, I have the same rig setup as on the previous capital ships, same combat and same engineering rig setup. And for the Naglfar, well, the Naglfar is the Cyber X Naglfar, a very salty Naglfar that I personally don't use, but you know, for the video, for the stream, I decided let's go get one for, you know, why not. So the tank is 1.2 million, of course not the best, considering the fact that it has no tank rigs. How do the barrel tracking compare to large tracks? Let's take a look, shall we? So, large artillery. Oh, on the Naglfar. Okay. Let's take a look then. On the barreled, it's 0.86. On the classic cannon, it's 0.57. Yeah, you get a lot better tracking with the barreled, with the high angle weapons. You get a lot better tracking with these turrets. However, you also get lowered DPS output. The normal capital main turrets have a much higher alpha and much better DPS, but again they have bad tracking. As they say, you win some, you lose some, and in most cases, if you like to camp, in some cases when you like to run missions, the barrel turrets are very nice. Okay, let me set up the barrage general units. I believe with the barrage implant, this ship might have the best DPS outputs because, well, you know, barrage does magic, and it magically gives you plus 3000 DPS or something. Tracking correction, shield boost output because the Naglfar is a shield tank ship. Battery units are the next ones that I will equip. Overheat boost. After the overheat boost, I will go with the efficiency, and over here I will just go and use. I can use damage control actually. I could technically use the damage control, I guess. But I'll just keep the classic setup that I've been using so far. Okay, now we are ready. Okay, let's see the stats on this thing.
Undocking.
Now, one thing that I really like is how the game always likes to change my module layout. The game does this every day. Not really sure why, but yeah. Okay. Let's light up the station for a second. And let's take a look at the tank. 1.8 million, 61, 65, 74 and 78% shield resistance, which is not bad. The tracking is now 4.39, 49.92 kilometers the accuracy fell off, 12.48 is the optimal range, 2.9 seconds is the activation time. Okay, let's siege up. Siege is up, 6.2 thousand DPS. Very nice. Now, should I use the barrage implant? Well, let's use the barrage implant. 24,000 DPS with the barrage. And barrage empty. That was quick. With one tracking computer, 6.79 is the tracking, and with the second one, the tracking goes up to 8.87, which is not bad. It's not bad at all. Okay, well, guess I will wait for the siege mode to go down, and then I will go to clear the mission. Overall, I would say the Moros and the Revelation have the most interesting barrel weapon setup. The Revelation can be used as a sniper with the barrel weapons, while the Moros has the nastiest close range, long-term DPS. The Naglfar might have the highest DPS for a short time, but it's not going to be anywhere near the Moros or Revelation in the duration of that DPS. But I guess that's just how the barrage implant works. Okay, cosmic anomaly. Deserted experimental field is over here. And I will warp in couple moments. I like how I never can really find a good screenshot of this ship because it's so tall. This is a tower. This is not a ship. This is a tower. Alright, aligning myself towards the mission. The nanocore looks very nice, I have to admit. The nanocore looks very, very nice. Okay, escape velocity reached. And let's warp Let's warp right
Warp
at
drive
0.
active.
With the barrage at 45, you basically get a web which can slow down the target by 20%, can help at slowing down the target, and can help at applying more damage. Okay, hello there. We have 4 battleships remaining. Trunk mode enabled, and let's open fire.
We're under attack.
Yeah, this ship has a very nice rate of fire, that's true. You know, it would be hilarious to try out the barrage implant on a battleship. Let's see what happens. Well, there goes a battleship, I guess. And there goes the second one.
Enemy ships detected.
Let's see
We're
how
under
this ship works
attack.
against small ships, like the destroyers, frigates.
We're under attack.
This is wave number 4, which means we are slowly finishing up with this mission as well. And 1 second, I need to get some water. I'll be back in 1 minute. Alright, I'm back. Criminal. Okay, what did I do? Small ships at speed or angel ships at full burn and orbit would be an by the numbers that I see, I believe it would be difficult to hit them, but you will still eventually hit them. So it's not really a big problem. It's kind of fun. The NPC ships have a boss battle at the moment, and they're losing the boss battle. The boss battle against the Naglfar. Now, as you can see, I am missing a lot of hits here. Yes, I am using predator webs on all of the ships that you're seeing here. You know, it's very interesting. I am actually missing a lot of hits with the Naglfar. The Moros with its tracking was doing much better, and the Revelation was doing much better as well. Interesting results so far. Yep, all those misses would not do well for the focus crystal implants. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's why I don't use the focus crystal, because one miss and all that nice DPS just goes away. That's why the pulse crystal is much better. This barrage implant is still nasty as ever. Just deletes the battleship in couple seconds. You blink and the battleship dies. Thankfully, it's not the case in PvP. In PvP, it's a little bit different. Yes, Moros at the moment seems to be the best performing ship. I had a lot of fun with the Moros. Basically, just drop the ship, enter siege mode, web the small ships, and delete anything else. And if you combine the Moros with the high power call implant, yeah, it has that sustained DPS, which is amazing. And of course, if you like tank, you can go with the thermal implant, and then you have tank and DPS. But the high power call implant is, for DPS, I would say much better. I enjoyed using the high power call implant a lot on all of the rail ships. Now, hopefully I don't forget to boost my shield, because I usually run armor tanks, so perhaps I'll be waiting for the armor to kick in on this ship, which is a mistake. Don't armor tank a Naglfar, it's not a good idea. Have to constantly remind myself that I'm in a shield tank ship now. Usually my chunky ships are all armor tanks with the thermal implant. Okay, last wave, 28 ships. I am a little bit worried that I might not be able to hit some of the ships. But, you know, let's just keep on shooting. I'll worry about not being able to hit ships later. I'm actually quite happy that I haven't seen a cursed Dreadnought yet. Technically, I saw one, but it was just a passive tank Moros. So not really counting the Moros, but it was a little bit weird to see the Moros without armor repairs. After all, the Moros has the best armor repair out of any other capital ship. I have 3 scramblers on me. I'm definitely not going anywhere. That's a fact. And 2 webs, okay. Titans are coming. It's 1 year away from us. They're supposedly coming, and by next August we will have a bunch of new modes. Perhaps we'll have wormholes. The drone regions might open before that. There is still a lot of things to be released. I'm personally excited for the tier 2 ships that are going to be able to be manufactured by using the normal ships. Basically the same manufacturing method that we see with the current faction carriers and with the jump freighters. I believe that's the manufacturing process. That's how it's going to look for the tier 2 ships. Now, am I going to fly Titans? Probably not. I don't have where to park them. I don't have where to dock a Titan. They require big stations, and I don't think we have the, let's say, the corp capacity to build a Keepstar. That's going to get killed in like one day, because we simply don't have a lot of players to defend something like that. So my goal with capital ships would be the Chemosh, and probably will not fly any other capital ship, but who knows, perhaps a carrier will be next. Depends what ship does catch my attention. But currently my objective, my next capital ship objective is the faction Dreadnought. That's what I'm currently waiting for if we are talking about capital ships. After all, I like the Blood Raider ships. Chemosh over the Avatar, yes, because I can dock a Chemosh in a normal station. The Avatar requires a Keepstar and a corpse bay, of course. The corpse bay is very important. I think the Astartes has a corpse bay. I haven't really checked that out, but I think it has one. It should have one. Shield at 33%, slowly going down. How much do I boost per cycle? 50,000, 100,000 shield every 3.85 seconds. Full shield in for 3 cycles. Not bad. I also like how the pirate ships are orbiting me outside of the web range. That's actually pretty smart. And shield is full. Nice. This is why I like this ship. It's super tanky. It just boosts shield up like no big deal. That's the magic of the Naglfar. I'm curious to see it look like this one, just with angel camouflage on it. But that is just my guess. The passive tracking is between the large Otkans and large strikes. It has better tracking than large strike cannons, but worse tracking than the large Otkans. It's much better than the capital tracking, that's for sure. But it's not as good as large Otkans, but it's also much better than the large artillery backup. Yeah, they're basically in the middle ground, and I really like the. I'm very happy that they don't have better tracking than the large Otkans. They're basically nicely balanced in between. Twice new turrets is by going full tracking, because you already have a lot of DPS
Warp
in
drive
the siege
active.
mode, so the only thing that the ship does need is extra tracking. And so far that idea seems to be working quite well on all of these ships. Well, technically, does that include the Phoenix? Because the Phoenix is a little bit different, but I'll show the Phoenix on a full dedicated video for the Phoenix, because there is a lot of other things that I want to talk about, and it's getting a little bit late over here, so I'll probably go to sleep in the next hour or so. But overall, I must say
Docking
that
request accepted.
the new turrets are very fun. They're nice. Overall, I'm quite satisfied with their performance, and they're not as overpowered as I thought that they will be. I really thought that they will be really strong, but in the end, it turns out that they're not as, as perfect as players thought that they would be. So, with that being said, hope that you guys had fun. Was a, I would say, very fun stream. Again, Happy New Year, and I'll see you probably later with a new video. So, stay safe, fly safe, and as always, I'll see you next time.